Okay, in this video we have some problems dealing with similar triangles. Just a reminder here, just a quick review or reminder that similar triangles basically have the same shape. The corresponding angles are congruent. So say this angle, these have the same shape. This angle and this angle are the same. This angle are the same. This angle corresponds to this one, they're the same. So if I label this side as say A and the corresponding side over here, say that's A prime. Say this is side B and this one, corresponding side over here is B prime, and say this is C here, and the corresponding side over here is C prime. So there's different postulates you can use to show that two triangles are similar. Now in this video, the problems here, we're told that we have similar triangles. So all you have to really know to solve the problems is to know that with similar triangles, corresponding angles are equal. So if this is angle A and this is angle A prime over here, they correspond, they should be equal. Say this is angle B, corresponding angle over here is B prime, they're equal. Or if this is C, corresponding angle over here is C prime, will be equal. And then the other important thing is that the corresponding sides are proportional. So if I take A, the first triangle, over the corresponding side of the second triangle, A prime, and then say I take B on the first one and the corresponding side on the second one, B prime, and then C, side C on the first one, the corresponding side on the second one, C prime, those will all be the same ratio. That'll be constant. That'll be a constant ratio. So if I take say this one here, A over A prime, let's consider this equation here, B over B prime. If I divide both sides by B, I get A over B. On the other side, on the left side, and then if I multiply by A prime, I get A prime over B prime. I'm sorry, A over B would be the same thing as A prime over B prime. Yeah. So I can say in this one, I can say, okay, take A over C here. That's going to be the same thing as A prime over C prime over here. Based on the algebra, that's also going to work. But the main thing is that if you have similar triangles, the corresponding angles are equal or congruent, they say, and the corresponding sides are proportional. So let's use that fact. Go back to the first one here. If you want to try this one, pause the video here and try to work it. But for this one right here, then we're going to look at it this way. We're going to, the way the orientation is, we're going to say we want the angles and we want x. So based on what we have there, the correspondence should be then that angle A over here is missing. But since we're told that these are similar triangles, that should be 30 degrees. B then, in the second triangle, the smaller triangle, should correspond to the corresponding angle on the first triangle, which is 75 degrees. And then C would be this one again, that's also 75 degrees. So the corresponding or missing angles in the second triangle are A equal 30 degrees, B is 75, and C is 75. Now we need x. So again, we simply form the proportion here. Take x from the small triangle, the corresponding side on the larger triangle is 16. So I form that ratio. And that should equal 2. And then I left this side out. This is 6. 6 should correspond to the 12. So that should be 6 over 12. And of course you can cross multiply here and solve, but you can also reduce this. 6 over 12 reduces to 1/2. And then cross multiply or just multiply both sides by 16. Either way you'll get the same answer. Multiply by 16 here, it cancels the 16, and 16 over here gives me 8. So the missing side x. Go to the next one, the last one here. So again, the orientation is the same. So angle A corresponds to this angle 60. 60 degrees. Again, for similar triangles, corresponding angles have the same measure. And corresponding sides are proportional. Not necessarily equal, but proportional. That angle B corresponds to this angle right here. You see they're both obtuse angles. That's 95 degrees. And of course the last one has to correspond to C. Angle C has to be 25 degrees. We know that the three angles have to add up to 180 for any triangle. So that takes care of that part. Now for X, corresponding side over here is 45. So I could go X over 45, or I could go 45 over X. I like to have the variable on top first, so I would say I would put it X over corresponding side on the other triangle, which is 45. So this would be an X over the corresponding side on the other triangle. That's 45. Now you could do it the other way around, as long as you're consistent. I could also put it as 45 over X, but I like the variable on top there. And then because I picked X from the smaller triangle, the next one also has to come from the small triangle. So I'll say 30 would correspond to the 20 over here. And like I said, you could start with a bigger triangle. You could say 45 over X is equal to 20 over 30. You still wind up with the same answer. So here the zeros cancel out, divide by 10. That cancels out. So you could cross multiply, or you could just say X is equal to, multiply both sides by 45. So I got 45 times 3/2. So multiply 3 times 45 and then divide by 2. This comes out to 67.5. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.